Do not play this video in the dark. It is very scary. Ah! Oh, the lands between. So peaceful, so tranquil, until they showed up. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Alberta, where the Arats do not exist. In today's episode of National Geographic, we'll be talking about the oil sands industry and its consequences upon the world environmentally and politically. Now, as a fellow pro-oil enthusiast myself, I am definitely not qualified to talk about such a controversial topic as a neutral reporter, but unfortunately for the both of us, my essay is mandatory and your attention is necessary. So, here is a trade offer. I will give you the funny, and you give me your eyes. So we begin with an introduction to oil sands, and I hear you thinking, wait a minute, oil sands? Wouldn't they be most likely found in the Middle East? And you would actually be wrong, for as you see, oil sand deposits are found around the world, with some examples being Venezuela, the United States of America, Russia, and Canada. Canada has the largest deposit out of the rest of the world, with places like the Athabascan River, the Cold Lake, and the Peace River. Now, oil sands is complicated business as it's a mixture of water, sand, and bitumen, which contributes to the substance's molasses-like texture and room temperature, causing some to nickname it tar sand. But that term is incorrect because bitumen and tar are different compounds. Oil sands correctly identifies the end product derived from bitumen, crude oil. There are several companies that are in this industry, but the three-headed beasts Canadians are most acquainted with are Suncor Energy, Canadian Natural Resources, and Athabascan Oil Corporation. Now you may be wondering, Kevin, why are you displaying a single image of a crab? And also, how did we discover oil sands, and what is its history? Well, the answer is quite simple, but also a bit complicated. Simple because we know when and why we cared. Complicated because we only know when and why we cared. Thus, for us to explore the reasons to big oil's unethical financial decisions, I would have to sacrifice hundreds of hours of my life and consult real-life professionals, neither of which I have. Fortunately for this project, I have found a website that claims it knows the history of oil sands. And since I can't use Wikipedia for this assignment, you will have to bear with me as I read through possible propaganda machines of lies. So, enjoy this poor and probably inaccurate summary of oil sands that I found on some random website. 306 years ago, a Cree named Wasesu introduced this oily substance to a European fur trader by the name of Henry Kelsey, who worked in the Hudson Bay Company in the Athabascan region. What happened next is still unknown, but in 1908, Charles Mayer wrote something about making profit on this funny little substance found a while back, leading Dr. Carl Clark to experiment with this possibly dangerous material and discovering the process of separating bitumen from the sand by mixing hot water with the sand. This would eventually lead to the creation of what is now known as solar energy in 1967 to capitalize on what we now call oil. Now, why is oil sands bad? Well, let me introduce you to this concept called global warming. The science behind greenhouse gas affecting global climate is quite simple, as you can think of it, like glass in a greenhouse, trapping heat and warming up the inside. This causes our planet, using our previous example, to be colder than recommended, which is a reason why environmentalists are kind of worried about this source of energy. But the main concern is that the extraction of oil sands emits 3 times more global warming pollution than conventional crude oil, while also depleting and polluting freshwater resources and creating giant ponds of toxic waste. The Albertan government, however, is not concerned about this because these bastards only speak money, and if you ain't giving it to them, then they ain't listening. Now, this is certainly a mess, but there are many other cleaner ways to get energy rather than just oil. Speaking to you directly, Alberta, many ideas have been thrown around, but the main idea always consists of solar, hydropower, or nuclear power, all of which are better alternative than oil sands. This concludes our presentation. I certainly hope you learned something because I certainly didn't.